Jordan looks like paradise. Petra, the Dead Sea, Wadi Rum. But behind the beauty, the country faces a water crisis, a shrinking sea, and a generation eager to leave. This is the real Jordan, resilient, welcoming, but balancing climate, refugees, and geopolitics. Let's peel back the layers and discover the truth behind the postcard. In Jordan, turning on a tap is a luxury. It's one of the most water-scarce countries on Earth. The average Jordanian gets less than a tenth of the safe water level. Water arrives by schedule, maybe once a week. When it runs out, families pay dearly for private water trucks. The Jordan River, once the country's lifeblood, is now a trickle. Climate change means less rain, longer droughts, and a brutal feedback loop. For Jordanians, water isn't a right, it's a daily worry. The water crisis is Jordan's most urgent threat. The Dead Sea, famous for floating tourists and mineral-rich mud, is vanishing. Its water level has dropped over 30 meters in a lifetime, retreating more than a meter each year. The Jordan River's water is siphoned for agriculture and drinking, leaving the Dead Sea to evaporate. As water recedes, massive sinkholes swallow roads and buildings, making the coastline hazardous. Hotels that once sat on the water's edge now face a long, treacherous walk to the shore. The Dead Sea is a barometer for the region's environmental health, and it's in crisis. Its fate is a warning for the entire region. Jordanian women are among the most educated in the region, excelling in universities and professions. But beneath the surface, many face severe social restrictions and the threat of honor-based violence. Legal reforms have helped, but loopholes and family pressure still undermine justice. For many, life is a tightrope. Professional success, but personal freedoms tightly controlled by tradition. The contradiction: women have access to education and careers, but autonomy is often locked away by conservative norms. It's a gilded cage, opportunity without true freedom. This tension is at the heart of modern Jordanian society. Jordan's refugee camps, like Zatari and Azraq, have become sprawling, semi-permanent cities. Over 100,000 people live in each, many unable to leave or work outside the camps. Life is defined by uncertainty and dependence on aid. A generation of children has grown up knowing nothing beyond the camp's fences. These camps are now a permanent feature of Jordan's landscape. Jordan shoulders a humanitarian burden with no end in sight. Jordan's youth are highly educated, but nearly half are unemployed. Engineers, doctors, and programmers graduate into an economy with no jobs for them. The result? A massive brain drain. Talented young Jordanians leave for the Gulf, Europe, or North America. The future is leaving, one flight at a time. Jordan's stability relies on foreign aid and rising debt. Much of the budget comes from the US and Europe, making Jordan dependent on outside agendas. Public debt is nearly 90% of GDP. Austerity measures hit ordinary Jordanians hard. Prices rise, incomes stagnate. Jordan is living on borrowed time and borrowed money. For most Jordanians, life feels like a relentless squeeze. Costs soar while salaries stagnate, pushing even the middle class toward poverty. Rents rise as refugees flood the housing market. Affordable apartments are scarce. Utility bills and food prices spike as subsidies vanish and imports dominate. For many, it's not about cutting luxuries. It's about affording basics. The struggle to get by fuels frustration and a sense of being stuck. While tourists marvel at Petra, many Jordanians see their own futures crumbling. The hidden crisis: prosperity on the surface, hardship underneath. Amman feels open, people debate politics, social media buzzes. But invisible red lines shape public life. Vague laws on cybercrime and lèse-majesté create a climate of self-censorship. A critical tweet or post can lead to interrogation or trial. Often, the process itself is the punishment. The result: people police themselves, avoid sensitive topics, and use coded language. Genuine dissent is pushed to the margins, even as daily life appears free. It's a sophisticated system of control, freedom with limits. The illusion of openness masks a tightly managed reality. Jordan's legendary hospitality extends to over 1 million refugees, Palestinians, Iraqis, and Syrians. For a small, resource-poor country, this generosity comes at a huge cost. Public services, schools, hospitals, water, and electricity are stretched to the breaking point. Classrooms overflow, hospitals are overwhelmed, and infrastructure strains under the pressure. Social friction grows as locals compete with refugees for jobs and housing. Resentment simmers, especially in poorer communities. The government and aid agencies struggle to manage tensions and remind everyone refugees are victims, not the cause of Jordan's problems. The burden of welcome is heavy and growing. The Bedouin are the face of Jordanian tourism, guiding visitors through Petra and Wadi Rum. Yet, most tourism profits bypass their communities, leaving them with low-wage, insecure jobs. Traditional Bedouin life has eroded, land lost, livelihoods gone, and many forced into towns or tourism work. Their culture is marketed to tourists, but their communities are marginalized and underserved. The desert that once sustained them can no longer provide. There's a deep sense of injustice. Their heritage is commodified, but they see little benefit. The Bedouin are stewards of the land, but strangers in their own home. In West Amman, luxury malls and high-rises paint a picture of wealth. But just outside the capital, rural Jordan faces poverty, poor infrastructure, and rampant unemployment. The divide is stark. Opportunity and investment are concentrated in the capital, while the rest feel forgotten. Public services are stretched thin, and traditional career paths are disappearing. Regional inequality fuels resentment and a sense of abandonment. Two Jordans exist side by side, one modern and prosperous, the other struggling and neglected. This divide is a major source of social tension. It's a recipe for instability. Jordan's arid beauty is under threat from desertification, overgrazing, and climate change. Once productive land is turning to desert, accelerated by human activity and longer droughts. Waste management is a visible problem. Plastic and trash litter the landscape. Water pollution from agriculture and industry worsens the crisis. The government and NGOs have ambitious green projects, reforestation, water harvesting, solar energy. But funding is scarce. Urgent needs often crowd out environmental priorities. Jordan knows what must be done, but resources are limited. The fight for a greener future is uphill, but essential. Tourism is vital to Jordan's economy. Petra, Wadi Rum, the Dead Sea draw visitors worldwide. But the industry is fragile, vulnerable to regional instability and global perceptions of safety. A crisis in a neighboring country can empty hotels overnight, regardless of Jordan's own stability. The boom and bust cycle leaves workers and businesses in limbo. Perception becomes reality. One headline can derail an entire season. Tourism supports jobs, but most are low-wage and insecure. Jordan walks a tightrope, dependent on an industry it can't fully control. The stakes are high, and the balance is precarious. Jordan sits in a tough neighborhood, surrounded by conflict and powerful neighbors. Its survival depends on diplomatic skill, balancing Western alliances with the views of a diverse population. Foreign aid is a lifeline, but it limits Jordan's independence. The monarchy must appease both Western backers and its own people. Jordan's foreign policy is a constant high-stakes balancing act. Jordan is caught between tradition and modernity. Family, honor, and conservative values shape daily life, but a young, educated generation aspires to global opportunities and personal freedom. Women are breaking barriers in education and work, but face strict social expectations at home. Young people dream of innovation, but family pressure favors stability. This tension shapes careers, relationships, and identity. The struggle to embrace the future without losing the past defines Jordan's present. The outcome will shape the country's destiny. Jordan isn't a postcard paradise. It's a country under immense strain, yet holding on with resilience. The real story is its people, warm, humorous, and endlessly hospitable despite the pressures. They are Jordan's greatest resource, more valuable than any oil or gas. You can't help but root for them, hoping for solutions, stability, and a break from crisis. Jordan's story is a lesson in looking past the surface to see the complex human reality. It's a tale of challenges, but also of strength and endurance. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.